Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal, CANADINS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. It's hard to ignore the swirling rumors, the whispers in the NHL corridors, and the buzz that's been building around the Montreal Canadiens lately. As you all know, this team has been in a bit of a rebuilding phase over the last couple of seasons, trying to find its identity, searching for that perfect mix of young talent and veteran leadership. And if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed that the Canadiens are actively looking to make some moves that could define their direction for the next few years and potentially bring them back to the top of the league. One of the most talked about names in the rumor mill right now is Nazem Kadri. That's right, Kadri, the veteran center who's won a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche in 2022, has been linked to Montreal, and it looks like there's a real possibility that he might end up donning the Canadiens' jersey sooner rather than later. And why wouldn't he? Kadri is a player who, even at 34, continues to be a game changer. Last season, he posted 35 goals and 32 assists for a total of 67 points in just 82 games. That kind of production, combined with his playoff experience and leadership qualities, makes him an ideal fit for a team like Montreal, which is eager to bolster its second-line center position and add a veteran voice to the locker room. But here's the interesting part. While Kadri has been heavily linked to the Toronto Maple Leafs, his name has also been popping up in trade rumors involving the Calgary Flames and, surprisingly, the Canadiens. And the reason for that is quite straightforward. Calgary, as you know, has been trying to build a more competitive roster, investing in young talent and trying to shed some salary cap space. Kadri's contract, which is 4 years remaining on a 7-year, $49 million deal, does carry a full no-movement clause through the 2025-26 season. That's a big commitment, but one that could be attractive to teams looking for a proven scorer and a leader. According to NHL insider Nick Kypreos from Sportsnet, there's a real possibility that Kadri might waive his no-trade clause if the right opportunity comes along, specifically, if Montreal offers a compelling package. Kypreos suggests that Kadri would be willing to accept a trade to Montreal, a team that's been quietly rebuilding but has shown signs of potential growth. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it. Montreal is a team that's still in the process of retooling, but with a core of talented young players like Cole Caulfield, Juraj Slavkovsky, and Nick Suzuki, adding a veteran like Kadri could accelerate their development and give them that extra edge of experience and playoff know-how. Now, you might be asking, what does this mean for the Canadiens' current roster and their future plans? Well, it's quite significant. Montreal has already been active in the trade market this season, bringing in Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders and Zachary Bolduc, a promising prospect, in recent deals. GM Kent Hughes has made it clear that he's not done yet. He's focused on building a team that can contend for the Stanley Cup in the near future, not just in the distant horizon. Hughes has been quite transparent about his approach, emphasizing the importance of adding veteran leadership and experienced players to guide the young core. Despite their efforts, the Canadiens are currently over the salary cap, but that's not a big obstacle at this point. Once they place Carey Price on long-term injury reserve, they'll clear enough space to make additional moves, including potentially acquiring a player like Kadri. This is crucial because it gives them flexibility to shape their roster without being hamstrung by cap constraints. And with Kadri's contract, Montreal could negotiate a deal that includes some retention of salary by Calgary, making the trade more palatable for all parties involved. For Montreal fans, the prospect of Kadri joining the team is exciting. Not only would he bring scoring punch and veteran leadership, but he also adds a layer of playoff experience that Montreal's young guys can learn from. Kadri's style of play, hard-nosed, relentless, with a knack for clutch goals, fits perfectly with what the Canadiens need. And let's not forget, Kadri's leadership qualities and Stanley Cup experience could be invaluable in the locker room, especially as Montreal aims to regain its status as a playoff powerhouse. It's also worth noting that Kadri's contract situation makes him a very attractive trade target for teams like Calgary, who are looking to maximize their return. Kyprios points out that Calgary might be willing to move Kadri because they could get a significant package in return, and they could also free themselves from his hefty cap hit. Considering that Kadri's deal also includes a modified no-trade clause for the final 3 years after next season, the Flames might be looking to move sooner rather than later to get the most out of their assets. But the big question is, what does this all mean for the Canadiens? Well, it signals that Montreal is not content with just developing young talent and waiting for the future. They're actively seeking to accelerate their rebuild by bringing in established stars who can make an immediate impact. Kadri, with his track record and leadership, could be that piece that helps Montreal take a step forward, not just in the standings, but in their overall competitiveness. This potential acquisition would also send a message across the league that the Canadiens are serious about contending again, and they're willing to make bold moves to get there. And of course, fans are buzzing about the possibility. You can imagine the excitement in the Bell Centre if this deal were to happen. Kadri in Canadiens' colors, leading the charge, bringing that winning mentality that's so vital in today's NHL. It's a story that's still unfolding, but the signs are pointing in a very promising direction for Montreal. They've shown resilience, they've made some savvy trades, and now, with a player like Kadri potentially on board, they could be on the cusp of something special. But remember, nothing is guaranteed yet. These rumors are just that, rumors. The trade market is complex, negotiations are ongoing, and a lot can change in the blink of an eye. Still, the fact that Kadri's name keeps coming up in connection with Montreal speaks volumes about the team's ambitions and the direction they're heading. Whether this move materializes or not, it's clear that the Canadiens are not settling for mediocrity. They're aiming higher, and they're willing to shake things up to get there. In the end, what's most exciting is the potential for Montreal to add a player of Kadri's caliber. A guy who's been through the battles, who's lifted the Stanley Cup, and who's still playing at an elite level. His arrival could energize the locker room, inspire the young players, and give Montreal that extra push to get back into serious playoff contention. It's a story worth watching, and I promise, I'll keep you updated every step of the way. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on the potential acquisition of Nazem Kadri? Do you think this is the move that could push them back into serious Stanley Cup contention? Or do you believe the Canadiens should focus on developing their young core and building through the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens as they try to find their path forward. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, more insights about your beloved Montreal Canadiens. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, go Habs.